There's so many different ways that you can make flexibility more fun. Like, touching your toes is a huge accomplishment the first time you do it. But once you can do it, it's kind of like, yeah, I could touch my toes and I don't really know what's next. And then you realize, wait, you can put your palms on the ground. And then you start working toward putting your palms on the ground. And then you realize, wait a minute, I can bend my elbows with my palms on the ground. And you keep building up until eventually you get to the point, which is where I am. And there are many people that are much, much further than I am, by the way. But now my goal is to get my elbow to start touching my toe more consistently and easier. And by the way, there are people that can touch their elbow to their toe without pulling their foot up. I'm nowhere near that level yet, but eventually we will be there. It's just gonna take a little bit of time. To the toe. Oh. All right, another raw flexi training video. You know how it goes. I got an imbalance in my right leg. My right leg is weaker than my left leg, so I gotta do a set of pistol squats on just my right leg. As strange as that sounds, it's gonna help me get rid of that imbalance. But today, we're gonna be doing a hamstring workout. Oh, we'll do one more of these. Oh, all right, cool. And it's gonna be centered, obviously, around flexibility. So, goal for today, I think I should be able to get my elbow to touch my toe on both sides, and hopefully I'll be able to hold it for 5 seconds or so. But it is a very difficult stretch, so we'll see how that goes for me. I'm already pretty warm. You know what, that reminds me. I also wanted to show you my middle split progress. That this is without a middle split warm-up. I just want to see how low I can go. Are my legs going to go off the edge? I don't think so. I just want to see how low I can go. Active middle split. This is where I'm at. Oh, no warm-up, that's where I'm at. Eventually, I'd like to get that with no warm-up almost all the way down to the ground. That's gonna be extremely impressive when I can do that. But time to get these hamstrings warm. I'm gonna start with my elephant walks. The reason why I do my elephant walks is because it lengthens these nerves. So that's what we're gonna do. Ooh. A large part of flexibility training is your nervous system firing off and not allowing you to get to these ranges of motion. So when you do something like this, where I'm pulling my hamstring from my toes technically by keeping it flexed, and I'm also pulling my hamstring from this side, my nerves are also running through there and they are getting lengthened as well. And it feels like tingles in the back of my knees and sometimes in the bottoms of my feet. Those tingles are what I'm trying to get, because that's what gives me the temporary progress to train my hamstrings deeper than normally I would be able to. I'm gonna pause in that a little bit. Ooh, yeah, feel those tingles. Other side. Oh, goodness. All right. Oh, goodness. Yep, that'll do it. All right, I'm gonna use this tree over here. I need something to balance on because I'm gonna do some hamstring kicks. I'm gonna get basically, the reason why I do these hamstring kicks is it's a dynamic exercise. It's borderline, well, it is a ballistic stretch. But the reason why I do these dynamic stretches, where I'm gonna kick my leg forward, you'll see in a second, is because the more I find that I do these dynamic stretches, the further my cold flexibility gets. So that middle split that I just did on the table where it was close to the ground, I've found that if I do super dynamic stuff that does those middle split muscles, I tend to be able to get lower without a warm-up. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do with these dynamic stretches here. This is called the hamstring kick. Oh, that's 10. I'm gonna go to the other side. I don't know if I have an imbalance in the flexibility here, but I guess we'll find out. Here we go. There's an elevated root there. Let's not kick that again. Oh, man, the good thing about these dynamic stretches is, as you can tell, I'm out of breath. It's cardio. My heart rate is extremely elevated right now, and that really helps with warming up. Oh, it gets the blood moving, the heart pumping, and just warms up your muscles and your whole body in general, which is what you want when you do flexibility training. It's what you want when you do any training, but with flexibility, it is definitely important. Oh, all right, I'm gonna loop back to those elephant walks, but you'll see, I'll be able to go deeper into them now. When I first did it a second ago, I was bouncing back and forth between this part of my hand on the ground and my palms on the ground. Now I'm gonna keep my palms on the ground, but I'm gonna bend my elbows a little bit so you'll really be able to see how much deeper I can go. Palms on the ground, bend the knees a little bit, and elephant walks. So this is definitely deeper than it was last set. So that just goes to show how much your nervous system plays a role in these stretches here. Oh. But it doesn't play the only role. Pausing. Oh boy, tingles. Other side. All right. Man, hamstrings feel good. All right, I think I'm gonna move on to some active stretches now, where I'm gonna find a pretty large distance to hold that stretch at. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna consciously activate my hamstrings for a couple sets. And what that means is I'm literally gonna flex. So I have an idea. I'm gonna use this picnic table right here. So I'm gonna put my foot on top like this, but instead of just holding the stretch like this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this leg back a little bit, and now I'm gonna push my heel into it once I feel the stretch. So I'm stretching right now, squeezing my heel down. Oh, I'm shaking. Oh, that was about 15 seconds or so, maybe. I don't know. I just kind of go off of feeling. But sometimes when I'm editing videos I make when I do a stretch, I'm like, man, that was a 30-second stretch, and I look at the timer, and it was like 60 seconds. All right, let's do one more set, and then I gotta get a fan for the camera. It looks like it might overheat. Here we go. Squeezing. Oh, that felt like it was about 15. We're gonna go back to the same stretch here. I'm gonna do another set, and I'm gonna go a little bit more intensely this time. So here we go. Full stretch, pushing down, flexing. Oh, right about there. Okay. I'm gonna try and get the same distance. Other leg. Here we go. Intense stretch. Squeezing. Oh. What I'm doing is I'm driving my heel straight down into the table so that my whole hamstring is activating right now. Okay. Whew. My goodness. That's not a max stretch for me, but when you add that activation in that stretch, man, it really does make the stretch that much more intense. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. I think I'm gonna move on to just some static stretches now, but I think I'm gonna move to a different area. We're gonna run away from the gardeners. And the cameraman. Oh, I almost fell down that hill right there. Let's go. You know, I keep coming back to this area over here, and I really like it, so that's where we'll hang out again. Away from the leaf blowers. Oh God, we're gonna have to hurry. They have go-karts coming. It's like the Delta Force of the gardeners just arrived at the park. I'm on a clock now. If you've never done that, by the way, just run in the middle of doing a flexibility workout, you should. It keeps you very, very warm. All right, I'm gonna isolate, so I'm gonna just bend one leg, keep one leg straight, and I'm gonna pull my toes toward me so it's a little bit more nervy. And I'm just gonna hold this for time right here. By the way, the goal here is not to reach further. The goal is to get my lumbar spine, which is my lower back, closer toward my leg. Oh man, if I would have did this stretch earlier without doing those elephant walks, I'd be basically crying in pain right now. Oh, okay, other side. Just gonna relax one leg, and I'm gonna reach out to this side, knee straight, stomach down toward the leg, and I'm gonna hold that stretch. Oh, by the way, you can tell that if my spine was straight, my leg is also off at an angle. For me, this does not stretch my adductors. I would have to go much further to stretch my adductors. But when I go out at an angle like this, it targets my hamstrings much, much better, and it's a little less nervy. So it feels really, really good. Oh, go back to this side. Now I'm gonna try and go for range a little bit. I'm gonna try and get my elbow a little closer to my toe here, and we could just see how close that gets. By the way, I only do this skill while standing. So while sitting, believe it or not, this skill is much harder. Oh, there's a touch. Oh, okay. I got a couple good little touches there. Let's see what we can do with this side. This side usually ends up being my tighter side, but sometimes it switches. That's why earlier I said I don't know which side's gonna be my tighter side. Now touch. Oh, man, I thought this side was gonna be my tighter side because it feels tighter. But I was able to do more touches, and the touches were a little stronger on that side. Oh boy. All right. Oh, I'm gonna do an active stretch again, where the goal here is to get that muscle activated, but I'm gonna hold it for longer because I'm much warmer now. And you'll see I'll also be able to do it down at the ground. So this is gonna be called a long lunge here. But instead of focusing on the hip flexors, I'm gonna hinge forward, and I'm gonna hold this right here. My fingers are gonna be used as balance. I'll use my pinkies to prove I'm not holding myself up. Oh boy. Oh, that was close to 30 seconds. Whereas at the beginning of the video, I was only doing it for 15 seconds, so. Okay, here we go. Other side. All right, hinge forward. Find that stretch. Oh boy, this side's intense. Oh boy. Man, one thing that people don't really talk about when it comes to flexibility training, when you take it super far, you start to feel some strange things sometimes. Like, I've done hip flexor stretches, which is that front part of your hip, the part that raises your knee up, those are your hip flexors. I've done those so intensely in one session before that I've had my whole quad go numb. Now that didn't happen this time. I was mostly stretching my hamstring, but behind my shin, my calf area right there, it was like tingling, and it feels so strange. And that's something that people don't really talk about in flexibility. But that sort of thing, in my experience, you don't ignore it, but you don't let it hold you back either. So you just kind of know that it's there and don't push too hard, but you keep going. And your body just adapts, and it's very interesting. I'm gonna do another set of that, and then we're gonna go passive, somewhere close to my max range of motion. So, all right, here goes that active stretch again. Man, these stretches in my head take the longest. Like, if 30 seconds was, you know, I don't know. It feels like it's an eternity is my point, but here we go. All right. Oh, I'm gonna go straight to the other side. There we go. Oh boy. Oh. I almost fell. Oh man. Oh, that's so surreal, that jello feeling you get in your legs, man. All right, well, I think it would be fun to play around with this passive stretch. And you know, we've got this chain link fence right here, so it gives me something to hold on to. And what I can do, just kind of for fun, I can throw my leg up here somewhere and use the fence to pull me closer to my own leg. So, I don't know, we're experimenting today, but it should be fun here. Get it up there. And I'm gonna use the fence to pull myself closer. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh man, that's intense. All right, other side, here we go. It's a lot easier getting the foot up than actually getting to the stretch. All right, here we go. Oh boy. Oh goodness. Man, that's intense. Oh, you know, it would be interesting to find out how much volume that up to this point that I put into my hamstrings. And if you think about flexibility work in terms of volume, it helps you out a lot. So at the beginning of the video, I did, you know, a little over 30 seconds of elephant walks, and then I did hamstring kicks, then I did I did sets of active hamstring stretches. I did a couple of those. I did more elephant walks. So that's at least 5 different exercises that all have a cumulative effect of around 15 to 30 seconds each. So I've already done almost 10 minutes of hamstring work. which is pretty wild. Or sorry, almost 5 minutes of hamstring work. And then if you count the sets that I did just now, man, it keeps climbing. So it's interesting how much volume that you do in one workout. You can also think about when you're working out with weight. What's the tonnage? How much weight did you actually move? Like if you're doing a bicep curl with 10 pounds, like a very light weight, around 10 pounds, it's not a lot. But I mean, if you do 10 curls, you just moved 100 pounds, really. And you could do that for an entire workout. Makes your ego feel really good, by the way. All right. I haven't worked on my hip flexors at all during this entire workout, but it would be a crime. It would be illegal. Absolutely impossible to do a hamstring workout without doing the front splits. So it's time for the front splits, but I'll bias toward my hamstrings by leaning as far forward as possible. And then after that, I'm gonna rest a little bit, and then we'll do our elbow toe touches, and we'll see how far we are in that. So, all right, here we go. Other side. All right, cool. All right, let's walk around for a bit, and then we'll do some elbow toe touches. Man, ooh, that's wild. It's so interesting that there's so many different ways that you can make flexibility more fun. Like, touching your toes is a huge accomplishment the first time you do it. But once you can do it, it's kind of like, yeah, I could touch my toes, and I don't really know what's next. And then you realize, wait, you can put your palms on the ground. And then you start working toward putting your palms on the ground. And then you realize, wait a minute, I can bend my elbows with my palms on the ground. And you keep building up until eventually you get to the point, which is where I am. And there are many people that are much, much further than I am, by the way. But now my goal is to get my elbow to start touching my toe more consistently and easier. And by the way, there are people that can touch their elbow to their toe without pulling their foot up. I'm nowhere near that level yet, but eventually we will be there. It's just gonna take a little bit of time. You know what? This is a nice spot. We'll do it right here. Elbow toe touches. I'm gonna start with my right leg. And I think I said that I wanted to hold it for 5 seconds. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was thinking it, so I gotta try it. So elbow, touch toe, I'm gonna try and hold it for 5 seconds. I'm honestly not sure I can hold it at all, but we'll see. Here we go. So grab the foot, and honk, and elbow to the toe. Oh, what? There's no way. That's so silly. That was 10 seconds. Yeah, I knew I was going to do that. Yeah. Jeez, what the heck? That's crazy. All right, here we go. Oh, boy. What? There's no way. That's crazy. I had no idea that was going to happen. I fully thought that I was going to, like, really try and hit 5 and I was going to stop at 3. But that was crazy. We can't stop there. We got to do, like, another set, right? All right. Elbow to toe. Elbow to toe. Here we go. Oh, it's another 10-second set. Other side. Other side. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh, my hamstrings feel crazy right now. To give you an idea, it's all tingles, like jello. Not very sore, not sore at all, but I will tell you this. Tomorrow, I probably still won't be very sore, like I'll feel something. But the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna be so dead sore, and it's probably gonna affect me for the next week or so. So if you do flexibility training very, very intensely like I do, just know you're gonna be sore. Anyway, I think that's all I got for my hamstrings today. Oh, that was a good one. I'm excited to watch this video when it comes out, because I want to see how crazy that elbow toe touch was. That's crazy. Stay flexy.